All right. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, by Shabbat Kudas. All right, I want to give double honors to our apostles of the great millstone, rule well. And I want to say peace and blessings to the house of David, the elect, the high spiritwindjudah of the GMS Mississippi Count. And what I want to go into is actually my testimony with bread. All right. And I'm going to go into my experience when I let go of bread, all right, for about 5 months, all right, following the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It was just an experiment, something that I did within the spirit, all right. I just wanted to continue the journey of not eating bread. It wasn't as strict as, you know, looking at the back of labels to see if something had yeast in it, but I just kept it on the surface and did not eat anything with bread, okay. And the reason why I'm going into this, because it's certain things in Babylon that just a part of your everyday life and part of your culture, to the point where you don't realize that this is one of those things that's draining you. This is one of those things that may make it hard for you to lose weight. This is one of those things that may cause brain fog, all right? And I'm not demonizing bread. I'm not telling brothers not to eat bread, because according to this article I read called the Israelite cuisine, and primarily according to the scriptures, bread was a part of our major staple. But here in Babylon, everything is processed and mass produced. See, I don't think that it's wrong to eat meats. I don't think it's wrong to eat certain things, but when it's processed and you take the nutrients out, you're no more eating life. All right. And same thing with bread. I think bread was a major part of our staple. You have something called the Mediterranean triad, which consists of the things that we ate just about with every meal. And that was wine, olives, and bread. And we had it in different forms. So you may have grapes, or you might actually have wine. You might have olives in your salad or olives in your food. All right. And you had bread, which is a major part of our staple. All right. But the way food was prepared in the ancient world, all right, and even in certain parts of that world now, probably like Turkey or Greece, all right, it's not the way food is prepared and shipped out in America, which leaves negative consequences in the human body, okay? So I'm going to give my testimony with bread and me letting it go for a brief extended period of time, all right, following the Feast of Unleavened Bread, year 2020. Let me get some liquid in my system, so like this only happens when I teach. Say it makes me want to yarn, or all of a sudden I can't speak. All of a sudden I can't speak because it's Satan, okay? But all right, so a few days after the Feast of Unleavened Bread, like a lot of brothers have experienced, first thing I experienced was I felt like I had mental clarity. I had more energy. And that was a few days after I let go of bread. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with the bread, but I think that most of the bread that I was eating, even if it said whole wheat or whatever, is pretty much processed, okay? And when it's processed, it's hard to move through your digestive tract, all right? So I experienced mental clarity. I experienced more energy, okay? And I also, of course, my stomach went down, all right? My stomach went down naturally, okay? And those are pretty much the major things that I've experienced. And one thing that I have to note is that one day I forgot to take some deodorant with me. I forgot to put on deodorant. And I was expecting at a certain time to start getting musty. I was at work. At that time, I worked at a box plant. It was a pretty physically demanding job. So I was expecting after a couple hours that I was going to start getting musty. And I did. I was like, whoa, you know? I mean, it happens, right? So I was like, damn, this is some, like, what did I do to not be? Because I've also experienced that same thing when I added cilantro to my diet, because cilantro is a natural deodorant and it deodorizes your body. And that's when I remember the article that I read about deodorant, is that Americans are musty and they take deodorant to mask their must. but their musk is the result of a poor diet. So I did some research and realized, I found out that the bread that we eat, all right, it's sort of it's sort of because of the liquids in our body, it sort of gets back into that doughy-like substance in our digestive tract. And what that does, it's like Play-Doh, it blocks the food. All right, it has a stop up in our digestive tract, and food gets stopped up in our digestive tract. All right, so what happens is the food stops up in your digestive tract, then it starts to rot. It starts to rot, but it's so common and it's so a part of our culture, interweaved into American culture, that people are bloated because of processed food. And one main part of that is bread. The bread clogs up your digestive tract. Now, if you have a house or an apartment and you have things that get clogged up in your faucet, what happens? Everything after that stops up. All right, now nothing goes down the drain. All right, so you can only imagine what's going on when you eat processed food, such as processed bread. Another thing, just to add, Americans, Israelites, the majority of the earth is either blue or green. All right, blue for the water, green for the vegetation, mainly the leafy greens. Majority of Jake, they don't add leafy greens to their diet, so they don't have anything to purge out the food that's in the digestive tract. See, the leafy greens, all right, actually purge out the food that's in your digestive tract. But one thing that doesn't help, and it plays the devil's advocate, is this cheap bread that we eat. And I make an effort to say cheap bread or processed bread, because I'm not demonizing real homemade bread. But it's something about this bread here made on the shelves, all right, and put on the, made in these factories and put on the shelves in America, because the nature of America is mass production. Ship it out as fast as possible to meet the demands of the goyim. Okay, so that's my experience. One thing I realized in America that, one thing that I realized in America is that we have things that's a part of our culture. All right, we have things that's a part of our culture that you don't even realize is wrong or is negatively affecting you because you were born doing it. You know, I grew up in the South. It was nothing to wake up and eat sausages in the morning time. It was nothing to, eat bacon. It was nothing to eat a drink. A drink isn't a sin, but that's just detrimental to our body. So the 12 tribes have to learn to honor your body and put nourishments before pleasure. All right, and when you detox from processed food, when you get past those withdrawal phases, when you urge those artificial sweeteners, the processed sugar, the MSG, the high fructose corn syrup, once you go through that withdrawal phase, you will appreciate what the Most High created. You would appreciate the fruit and the vegetables. All right, lightly salting something. All right, but yeah, that's my testimony. That's my experience that I wanted to document, because I know that certain brothers and sisters can benefit from this. Sometimes it doesn't take some extreme diet to achieve certain results as far as your health. Sometimes it just takes for you to remove key things out of your diet. All right. Same thing with your child. Your children are really not supposed. Sometimes you can't help what your woman gonna give your kids. I know how that could be, but you're really not supposed to give your offspring, these gummy stuff and this candy stuff that has no source. See, we're Israelites, and we are the sons of Adam. Adam means from the ground, and one thing that comes from the ground are nutrients. All right, minerals. That's where you get the word mine from. You're mining. That's where you get the word mineral. Mineral comes from mine, because you're mining for these elements that come from the soil that enrich your body. And the 12 tribes in America are depleted of these minerals that you have to mine for. These plants, they suck up all right? And they produced it in their fruit, in their vegetables. Or the animals that we eat, they eat the fruit and vegetables, all right? That's why the animals that we eat right off the bat, they're herbivores, all right? And we don't eat those foods because we've in error called processed food, but it has no nourishment in it, or nutrition, which goes back to nourishments. So if the food doesn't have nourishments, how can it nourish you? Okay? So you're eating food-like substances. In essence, you're addicted to edible drugs. It's a drug. If you take the nourishments from it and you're eating it for taste, it's a drug. All right? But, you know, going back to the point of me doing this lesson, you know, a lot of food that we eat that we think is food is not food because it's tainted. All right? And if it can't go through your digestive tract, then you need to reassess your diet. And one of the main staples that you have to have in your diet are greens. All right? And you don't need a whole lot of food all the time to be satisfied. You just need nourishments. All right? Or nutrition. Okay? But with that, I hope your brothers are edified. Hey, till the next time, shalom.